Hi, it's Wednesday, the 13th of February, 2008, and this is Brian Shannon from AlphaTrends.net. I'm going to take a look at possibly shorting CELG here in a moment, and I'm going to show you why. First, we'll start out with this much longer-term chart. You can see the stock broke down through some support at the $60 level and has rallied up on diminished volume on this weekly time frame rather. And here on the daily time frame, you can see that we've still got a declining 50-day moving average. The stock looks like maybe it's starting to break down a little bit through that 10-day moving average. And here's what I'm looking at on a 30-minute time frame. First of all, I've got this trend line that looks like it was broken yesterday. And let me just redraw that just to make it a little bit more accurate. So you can see it actually has not been broken yet. But we do have a stock that broke down through some support here at about this 57.5 level or so. And now we've got that 5-day moving average starting to flatten out, and all these other moving averages are heading lower as well, indicating that, to me, that it looks like maybe this stock is due for a little bit of a decline in here. You can see that on the 10-minute time frame, that's where the stock had again broken down. And on the 5-minute time frame, you see that it opened with a gap higher this morning. That failed, and now it's just kind of consolidating near yesterday's lows. And when we go to a 2-minute time frame, you can see that here, this is probably going to be where my worst case stop would go when I do initiate a short position. And down to the 1-minute time frame, here's where that's also coincident with approximately the location of today's VWAP, or volume weighted average price, the average price the stock is traded at today. So on average, everyone who's bought this stock is now losing money, and it looks like it could be due for a decline. So what I want to do is start looking at this thing on the level 2 and get ready to enter an order here. So you can see that I can go ahead if I want to send an order at 57.01. So I'm being passive and letting the liquidity come to me. So right now that order is live. I'm showing the full size too. A lot of times I hide my order and don't show the size. So right now I've sold 100 shares. Someone bought 100 shares from me, and there's a bid for 2,000 shares. So I think there's a good chance I'll get filled here. Let's just give it a moment to see how this order gets filled. And there you can see that I'm now short at 57.01, 500 shares of CELG. So now the first thing I have to do is take a look at what my risk is going to be. Right now you can see the daily VWAP right here is about 57.30 or so. Now what I want to do, like I said, is look at risk first. So I think that my risk should probably be, this looks like an important level here this morning, 57.18. I'm not going to give it all the way up here. If I can cut my risk by another 20 cents by being at about 57, well, I think I'll give it right around this VWAP level, which is about 57.30. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I'm not going to set that stop quite yet. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and see how it starts to trade, and then give it a little bit of time here to hopefully decline. So far, the market is starting to decline a little bit as well. You can see the S&P 500 is it's up for the day right now. It's up a little bit, but it seems to be failing here, and it's pretty early for the market to fail like this. So we are below the 2-day VWAP right now on the overall market. I think the odds favor the short sale here. So let's just bring it back to CELG for a moment. And you can see that while I was just talking, it has dropped a little bit, which is obviously always a nice thing when it works right away. The support that if it breaks, I think at about 57.85, I think if that breaks, then the stock could build a little bit of quick downward momentum, and then we could see hopefully a pretty nice little decline in here. For some reason that's not updating, so let me just put this in and then go back to CELG, and I'll be right back. Okay, looks like we're getting a little bit of action down here at the lower end of the range for this stock, and what I think I'll do is go ahead and sell short another 500 shares. So this time I think I'm going to put it in at a market order, and you can see I just did that. So I've sold another 500 shares short at 56.82, and that now gives me 1,000 shares short at an average price of $56.92. and let's see if this thing can start breaking down. By the way, you know, since I added more shares to it, my stop is now going to be lowered at least on half of it to right around in this area. And again, I'm not going to set the stop. I don't always set stops, but instead I'm just going to monitor the stock very carefully, and if it gets up to that level and looks like it may be ready to go through that area, then I'll go ahead and take a small loss on a portion of it. Okay, finally we're getting this thing to break down a little bit. The market is held up. This stock is relatively weaker, and you can see that my average price of 56.91. So I'm now in the money by a couple $100 on this 1,000 shares. The stock is broken down below the lows of the day here, so that's always a good thing when you're short. And at this point, I'm going to look for places to possibly cover half of my position and just take that initial, reduce the risk, that is, and take a little bit of profit off the table. The Qs, the NASDAQ 100, you can see is holding up, so I think that CELG is part of the NASDAQ 100. So this is going to be obviously one of the weaker components. But the good thing is that, you know, all these moving averages are heading lower, and as a scalp trade, just to reduce risk, I'm considering the possibility of going in here and taking a little bit off. It's right now kind of trying to find maybe a little bit of support here near yesterday's low, and if it can maybe rally up a little bit towards 56.80, that little level of support that we had seen just break with the volume. And if that level becomes resistance, then I think we have a good chance of another push lower. So actually I'm going to hold off for now. I've been patient with this so far, and we'll see if this thing can break down further. Well, it's starting to look like that breakdown is failed, and I'm getting very close to covering this trade here. From failed moves come fast moves, and a lot of times when they look like they're breaking a support level and they come back up above it, then you get a reversal in the other direction, and I'm going to consider covering at least half of this very short term here. Unfortunately, I didn't do what I like to do, which is to cover part of it always on that initial move and reduce my profits and take a little bit of the risk, reduce my risk and take part of the profits. So I'm just going to give this a little bit further time to just kind of see what happens, but I'm not liking the action right now. Well, I didn't cover any of it yet, and the market broke back down right at that level where I was just considering covering part of it. And what I'm going to do, I think, is if it trades up to that 82 cents, I'm just going to go ahead and buy back 500 shares of this. The stock is experiencing a little bit of volatility here, and so I just covered half of it. You can see that right now I've locked in $55.50 in profits, and I'm short 500 shares at an average price of 91 cents. The market is a little bit stronger than I'd like to see right now. It did, the NASDAQ 100 did get back above the daily VWAP in here, and being short isn't usually the best idea when the market is strong. However, a lot of stocks do trade based on their own merits, of course, and that's something I talk a lot about. But here you can see that CELG, did make that little punch lower and tried to recover, and it's still not convincing to me that the sellers have complete control of this stock. But I do want to maintain some short exposure here with that 500 shares. And my goal is to hold this thing, hopefully, until it can break down and maybe come down towards 56 or lower. So I will continue to record when market action warrants. Okay, here we are an hour and a half or so later, and the stock I'm being pretty patient with. I'm still short 500 shares of it at an average price of 91 cents. And you can see here the low of the day in my level 2 box is $56.55. It's been trading right around 56. You can see 58, 58, 59 are the last few trades in here. And if I open up this level 2 a little bit, you can see that we've got a bidder here at $56.55, which again is low of the day so far, showing a bid for 5,500 shares. Now, whether or not he's real or just trying to induce people to take an offer that he may have, I think we're about to find out here. And it looks like it's trading through that level. And a lot of times, you know, you hear the adage that price moves to size. Where there is size in the market, the price will automatically kind of be attracted towards that. So there we go. It's through that level of demand, and now we're hitting fresh lows, which of course is always a great thing when you're short. So the patience that I've had with this trade so far is paying off, and you can see that not only is it taking out the low for today, but this is the low basically for the last 5 sessions or so that we had on the 7th of February in an open and a sell-off down towards that level. And then again yesterday this area was tested. So it looks like this stock ought to continue down, I would think, at least towards about that $56 level or so. And for this remaining 500 shares, I'm going to try to keep my patience, and what I'll probably do when it comes time to purchase a stock is I'll put in an order for, let's just say, $55 a share. I'll show 100 shares and I'll use discretion, meaning the full size I want, or reserve amount rather. The reserve amount will be 500 shares. That's the amount I'm short. That's the real amount that I want to sell, or buy rather, because I'm short here. Furthermore, when I put my order in at $55 a share, it won't even show up on the level 2 screen. This great feature that Realtick provides is all these different order entries that you have. You can see there's about a dozen or so. The main ones I use are basically limit and discretionary orders. But what I'll do is I'll put my order in at $55 a share to purchase, but I might go in and say $56.05. So realistically, I'm bidding $56.05, but I don't want anyone to see that bid, and because they might decide, well, since there's a bidder of $56.05, I'll put my order in front of his, and then it just it's always a good thing to play basically invisibly. So when the stock, if the stock gets down towards that level, I will update it again. Okay, well this stock just seems like it's resisting further decline here. We've got a pretty strong market here today as well. The NASDAQ is up a little more than 1%, and the S&P 500 is up 0.75%. I've been bucking the trend of the overall market. It hasn't seemed to matter so much for CELG, but if the stock gets up to this 52-cent level, then I'm just going to cover that remaining 500 shares and take a $200 profit to add to the $55 that I'd taken earlier. So for about a $250 profit or so. And let's see, looks like it's about to trade there. You can see the 50 cents are trading, and it's 50 bid, 51 offered. As soon as that 52 trades once, I'm going to go in and buy it at 53 cents. So fortunately, it's looking like maybe we've got some more persistent sellers in here. It's tough to see exactly, but this is really the only time I ever look at level 2 is when it actually comes down to time to making a trade execution decision. I want to see how much supply is offered, where the bidders are, the speed of the prints going off in here. But realistically, I'm paying no attention at all. And in fact, I don't even have the market makers in there. All I'm showing is the ECN. So I don't pay any attention to what the market makers are doing. To me, it's something that is pretty much a waste of time to try and figure out what one participant might be doing. That is, let's say Goldman Sachs or First Boston or whoever. Instead, I want to look at the actions of the collective group of participants, which is represented, of course, on the chart. That's where you're going to see the what's happening with all the participants here. And basically, we're still seeing that this trade has reason to stay alive. Until price action tells me otherwise, I just have to maintain some patience here. And even though the market is up, I can't let the strength of the overall market distract me, because so far this has been a pretty good little short side trade. Well, it looks like we're about to get some new lows in here. There was a stubborn buyer there on the bid at 40 cents, but looks like they absorbed all that they wanted to, and we just saw the stock drop down to its 35 cents or so. And so far, the patience that I've shown in this trade continues to pay off. It's interesting, the market was actually just experiencing a slight bit of strength right there when this sold off. So this is clearly the right stock to be short on a day like today. And right now, I'm looking at this level where I had looked at that 52-cent level or so, and I think that's where my new stop will be in this trade. That if it gets back above there and creates a higher high, we have this right now. We had this low and then a lower low right here. If it creates a higher high, I will get out of the trade. Otherwise, I'm going to stick with it down towards hopefully about 56.05 is my target. Okay, the market is strengthening, and this stock is about to hit the level that I said I would cover at, which was if it trades 52 cents, then I will go in, and I'm going to put my order in at 54 cents, 55 cents, actually, and that way it'll be a leading market, leading limit order, meaning that once that 52 cents trades, then I'm going to go a little bit higher, just to ensure that if somebody takes the 53-cent stock before I do, then my order will go to 54 or 55 cents to look for the liquidity to fill this order. Now, again, let's see if it pays to be patient or whether or not I'm going to get stopped out of this trade here, you know, on my mental stop, that is. And again, I'm looking for a trade of 52 cents, not the offer being there. So there we go. And it's time to get out of this trade. So you can see that I got filled at 53.2 cents. And looks like for the very short term that was the correct place to get out of the trade, as when we look at the 1 minute chart, we've seen this pattern of lower highs and lower lows, and now that pattern has been interrupted. So if I'm in the stock for a very short term trade, which in this case actually turned out to be several hours, the original short sale was let me just take a look here at about 10:30, and here it is 1 o'clock. So you know, a few hours there. Once that short-term pattern of lower highs and lower lows is interrupted, though, there's really no reason for me to continue to be short this trade, and hope you learned something from it.